Urban legend Will Evans, welcome to the live stream. If you can hear me clearly, say me in the chat or drop a one in the chat if you can hear me clearly before we get started with the live stream. We got a lot to get to today. I've been on a little hiatus because it's been my birthday. It was my birthday yesterday, so I was celebrating with my wife, been out of town, having some fun. But we got a lot of information and entertainment to get to today. I'm gonna break it down from the entrepreneur perspective. You guys know how we do on the channel. We got to talk about R. Kelly. He says that the prison that he's at, they're trying to kill him. He said the guards have a plot to murder him. He's been hospitalized recently, I think yesterday, after a near fatal overdose. And he's claiming that they've been trying to kill him. And there's a prisoner that came forward, a white guy, Aryan Brotherhood guy, came forward and said that he was offered money in order to assassinate R. Kelly. So we're gonna talk about that in a second. We're gonna talk about the latest update with Tyler Perry. He's been sued for $260 million for an assault. I guess there's a white guy that's saying that R. Kelly assaulted him sexually and retaliated against him in business. And we're gonna break that down as well. We're gonna talk about the latest updates in the Diddy trial. And just like I predicted, somebody is coming forward to testify that we've been waiting to see for nearly over a year and trying to see what's going on with that person. So we're gonna talk about that. And then we're gonna finish this off with the updates with Dame Dash. Dame Dash seems like he's losing everything. God bless him, man. We got a lot to talk about there. I think that's a situation that needs to be studied as well, because Dame Dash is in a really bad spot right now, man. And Jay-Z and Memphis Bleak seem like they've responded. They don't got nothing good to say. So we're gonna talk about all that in a second. Before we start, we always start the live stream the same way, with a prayer. So we're going to start that way today. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you humbly, God, thanking you for another day. As we're going through this information, I ask that you let it not just be entertainment news, but let it be something that we could pull from it, that we could learn from it, God, and better our lives with. For everybody that's listening, I ask that you give them traveling mercy as they go to and from where they're going to and from today. God, bless their loved ones, their children, and their families. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, man, let's get started. We got a lot of information to get to in this episode, this show. So let's start with the R. Kelly update, man. So R. Kelly is hospitalized after a near fatal overdose in prison, and his attorney is claiming that it was a plot to kill him, and he's seeking pardon from President Donald Trump currently. And if we have time at the end of this live stream, I'll talk about some of the other stuff that's going on in the world, but we got so much to get to today. Let's try to get through this. The article says in the early morning hours of June 13th, R. Kelly awoke. He felt faint. He was dizzy. He started to see black spots in his vision. Mr. Kelly tried to get up, but fell to the ground. He crawled to the door of the cell and lost consciousness. He was placed on a gurney, according to the filing from his attorney obtained by Fox. It says, quote, at the hospital, Mr. Kelly learned that he had been administered an overdose quantity of his medications that threatened his life. So they gave him more medication. I guess he's on medication right now. They gave him more medication than he was required to take. It said he required hospitalization for 2 days to treat this overdose. So he was in the hospital 2 days. Okay. R. Kelly's attorney alleged the prison staff administered a dangerously high dose of his medication, leading to the overdose. He's 58 years old currently, and he normally takes medication for anxiety and sleep medication. The quote was from R. Kelly's attorney, no matter what your feelings about R. Kelly is, he's still a human being receiving subhuman treatment. We cannot allow this to go on any longer. His attorney recently filed for a temporary furlough, which would allow him to leave prison for a limited time under specific conditions. In the filing, his attorney alleges within 2 days of the filing of his motion, Bureau of Prisons official administered an amount of medication that significantly exceeded a safe dose and caused Mr. Kelly to overdose, putting his life in jeopardy. So basically, his attorney is kind of insinuating that, hey, he was about to get out on this temporary furlough. R. Kelly was about to come home, and for whatever the specific conditions of it were, I don't think we've gotten to that yet. Maybe they will get to it in the article as we keep going. But she's saying that, my client was about to come home, and then within 2 days of filing the motion, once that got out that we were about to file this motion, they gave him, magically started giving him too much medication, which is kind of questionable, because when you look at it, you go, well, Y'all been giving him the same medication since he's been there, likely. So why all of a sudden is the dose way higher? That is questionable, right? In fact, I think I got R. Kelly on a phone call, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to say. I'm pretty sure I have R. Kelly on a phone call calling home, and some never before heard audio. And I'm gonna try to find that as we get through this, because he was saying some things about his case and stuff, which I don't know. R. Kelly is, can't defend nothing that he accused of, and I'm not even gonna try. But I may have just to let you guys hear some of the stuff he was saying. I may be able to find that soon. I'll try. But they're saying that they gave him the attorney saying they gave R. Kelly, an amount of medicine that could have killed him. According to his lawyers, administering, I'm tongue-tied today. Administering, that's what happens when you don't do live streams for a couple of days, man. You start, I got to stay on it. Administering an overdose quantity of medication to Mr. Kelly just days after his exposure of a Bureau of Prisons plot to kill him is not the end of the BOP actions that put his life in jeopardy. The filing claimed it actually gets much worse. His legal team said Kelly had complained for months about a swollen leg, an issue that was especially concerning due to his prior history with blood clots. Okay. He reportedly sought medical attention repeatedly, but was provided with limited or delayed care. By the way, hit that like button if you guys just coming in. We didn't get to the rules of the room, but you guys know what to do. Subscriber only chat. If you ain't a subscriber, you can't be in the comment section. And hit that like button. Keep the likes up. Helps the information get out to more people, man. I appreciate you guys. Earlier this year, Kelly was allegedly supposed to undergo a scan to detect blood clots. He was then told by prison medical staff that they were only authorized to advise him that he would no longer be receiving blood thinners. So his attorney said he was taking off blood thinners at that time. The attorney claimed that the decision happened within the past 3 months and put their client at serious risk of medical complications. The filing also claimed Mr. Kelly was on the phone with the undersigned today in tears, afraid that they will kill him or let him die. It is useful to juxtapose the declaration of Mikhail Stein, I believe the name is, with the conduct of the Bureau of Prisons officials. Since that declaration became public, he exposed what he indicated was a BOP plot to kill Mr. Kelly in order to cover up crimes committed by the DOJ and Bureau of Prisons officials during the investigation of his cases. Okay, so this is the where the R. Kelly's attorney is trying to give what's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to give motive on why they will want to kill R. Kelly in this prison. I guess R. Kelly is filing a bunch of stuff, and the BOP they claim the BOP is trying to cover all this stuff up that's going on in the prison. That R. Kelly that they're doing to R. Kelly and other people. After his recent hospitalization, Kelly was forcibly removed from Duke University Hospital, despite doctors advising against it. So that's kind of crazy. The doctors say no, he don't need to be removed, and the prison say yeah, we're removing him anyway. It's kind of crazy. When Fox reached out to the BOP declined to comment, stating, "For privacy, safety, and security reasons, we do not discuss the conditions of confinement for any incarcerated individual, including their medical and health-related issues." So the BOP is tight-lipped on it. They like, man, we ain't saying nothing. Kelly's lawyers requested a pardon from President Donald Trump. So R. Kelly trying to get pardoned by Trump. Man, everybody trying to get pardoned by Trump, man. This is crazy. This is the quote. "Given the years of mistreatment and cover-ups, I would have to agree that President Trump is the only one who, if he saw the corruption, would walk R. Kelly out of prison himself." That's what R. Kelly's attorney said. His other attorney said that the singer's legal team believes Trump is the only person with the courage and power to fight corruption in the prosecution of public figures and stomp it out. The president understands what it's like to be victimized by Obama and Biden-era prosecution teams intent on destroying public figures. He experienced that himself. R. Kelly is now living with the consequences of the same kind of shameful and criminal prosecutorial tactics. They trying to appeal to Trump going through a situation on his own. R. Kelly, bro, man. Let me just finish this article before I even say anything. The singer's been incarcerated at the Federal Correction Institution in North Carolina since 2022. Kelly joined a list of high-profile inmates serving time at this institution. He's in Butner. That's the name of the institution. That's ironic. uh, I'm being immature. All right. The prison has become an unexpected final chapter for some of the most notorious figures in America: Bernie Madoff, John Gotti, people like that. He was sentenced to 30 years. R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in this prison. And in 2023, he was sentenced to an additional 20 years on child. Hold on. Now, here's where we got to keep in mind. R. Kelly in there for charges of child porno and enticement of minors for sex. Kelly will serve all but one of those years concurrently and will be eligible for parole at age 80. Bro, personal feelings, nothing against R. Kelly. Probably my favorite singer. Love his music. I think he's the most talented singer of all time. Can't take that from him. I think he's one of the most talented writers in the entertainment industry. If you watch child porn and you forcibly sleep with minors, in my opinion, and I don't have a heaven or hell to put them in, but you deserve to die. That's my personal opinion. I don't care who you are. If you as a grown man, you watching child porn and you because he was convicted of this, holding it, having it in his Chicago house, enticement of minors for sex is a charge that he's convicted of. The fact that you get to come home and are eligible for parole at age 80, and I'm not condoning anything that the BOP do. I'm not saying that the Bureau of Prisons is correct or like who cares because he's still a human being. Still, I get it. My personal opinion, and like I said, nothing against his music, his career, his talent. Everything against morally what you're convicted of. No sympathy there. You know what I'm saying? And I have sympathy for a lot of dudes that get locked up, even some of the violent ones, because I understand how situations go. And I've been there, so I get it. No sympathy for these type of charges. Sorry. So, you reap what you sow, bro. Now, do I think the BOP should be treating people inhumane and doing all this stuff that they're accused of if it is true? No. But I also don't have sympathy in that way. I have empathy, but not sympathy. You make your bed, you lay in it, bro. And this is one of them things that I just have a hard line against. Pause. Like I just messing with kids, messing with old people, messing with women. Those things right there, I'm good. That's just how I was raised. So that's the latest update on R. Kelly. There was a guy that said that he was paid. Let me see if I can find that real quick. There was a guy that said he was paid by the BOP to assassinate R. Kelly. And he was an Aryan Brotherhood guy. I can't remember where the article is. So maybe we'll do that another time, but let me see. Oh, I found it. Here it is. Let's see if we can find the spot in this article where it was at. Here it is. So after R. Kelly's attorney talked about the overdose and the blood clots in his lung, they said they did. She said the attorney said these people did overdose him. They did leave him with blood clots in his lungs and remove him from a hospital that sought to do surgery to remove the blood clots. And they did it within days of his exposure of a plan to kill him, set forth by the BOP. This was reported by KTLA. Attorneys cite a declaration from a leader of the Aryan Brotherhood among their evidence. Government attorneys rejected the allegations as repugnant and questioned whether a Chicago judge has jurisdiction to alter Kelly's sentence for separate convictions in Illinois and New York. Kelly has a Friday hearing in Chicago's federal court. Now, it says, this is a quote from his attorney, said Kelly has never taken responsibility for his years of, this is a government attorney, by the way. Kelly has never taken responsibility for the years of sexually abusing children, and he probably never will. Undeterred, Kelly now asked the court to release him from incarceration indefinitely under the guise of a fanciful conspiracy. So they like, bro, you just trying to get out of jail, bro, and you ain't even taking responsibility for what you convicted of. Like, be real. You know what I'm saying? Be honest with yourself, bro. Like, at least do that. So that's what the latest updates on R. Kelly's situation is. And, we'll see how it plays out if we get any new updates on it. But like I said, man, it's going to be hard to have sympathy for somebody that's convicted of the things he's convicted of. The fact that he has a release date at all, bro, if you get to see a year, 6 months free after everything that you've been convicted of, that's a blessing. That's a blessing in itself. Do your time. Shut your mouth. Do your time. Deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was young, before we get to the next topic, I remember when I was young, I was out robbing people when I was a kid, 17, 18 years old. That's what I used to do. Come up in that environment, right? God forgive me. I don't live nowhere near like that anymore. It's kind of crazy when I look back, but I went to jail one time with braces. I had braces on my teeth. I went to jail with braces. We got in a riot. My braces got stuck to my lip. I got punched in the mouth. We fighting in a riot, regular stuff. And, y'all know how it is when you locked up. If you don't, I'm telling you. And I had to rip my lip off my braces. I was leaking. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't about to take me to the hospital and all that. Bro, you in jail, homie. You know what I'm saying? You probably needed stitches and all that. You in jail. You think I was sitting there writing kite after kite complaining? No. Do the crime, do the time. Whatever comes with doing the time, you do the time. I'm not sitting here writing complaints I'm not doing all that. But I also took responsibility for my actions. So that's a whole different story. Let's get into this Tyler Perry situation. And thank God, you guys probably could never see that type of person, see that on me in these days of my life, but because God has been so good. But man, I just don't have sympathy for certain things because I've been through certain things. Let's get into the Tyler Perry update, man. Tyler Perry hit with a $260 million lawsuit just a couple days after his new movie Straw has come out. And me and my family watched that movie Straw. Man, I laughed from a healthy place. That whole movie. And we're going to get into that in a second. But let's talk about this update on the $260 million sexual assault lawsuit that that Tyler Perry described as a scam. We just got over the R. Kelly topic. Now I'm getting the stories confused or conflated. A former longtime regular on Tyler Perry's White House drama, The Oval, is accusing the Medea star of sexual assault, sexual harassment, and retaliation in a $260 million lawsuit. Tyler Perry denied it. The quote from the guy that's suing, or his lawyer rather, says, using his influence, Mr. Perry provided vulnerable men with acting positions, roles, show contracts, cars, and money. A lawyer for this man named Derek Dixon says that Perry's MO to their client and others in the complaint file is this, or says that's his MO. This is the quote. Once the object of his desire was hooked, Tyler Perry would then put them in a fear of losing it all unless they engaged in Mr. Perry's perverted desire for sexual gratification. Mr. Perry would easily kill off a character in a show or an actor who failed to indulge in his sexual fantasies. Invoking the name of Weinstein, Cosby, Kelly, Diddy, etc., Kevin Spacey, etc., and many others in the industry, Dixon's actions detailed how allegedly on multiple occasions, Tyler Perry assaulted him, including one instance where he forcibly pulled Mr. Dixon's clothing off, groped his buttocks, and attempted to force himself inside Mr. Dixon. In response, Tyler Perry's representatives called BS on the accusations. They said this is an individual, quote, who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam. That was the attorney for TPS Production Services. Says Tyler will not be shaken down, and we are confident these fabricated claims of harassment will fail. Such claims of harassment are by Dixon are very specific and widespread at the same time. It should be noted, for instance, at one point, Dixon says that Tyler Perry promised the actor that he had been greenlit the pilot that Mr. Perry knew that Mr. Dixon had desperately wanted to produce. The Oval Vet says that even with the call from Perry's lawyers affirming that the pilot was moving ahead, the promise turned out to be empty. In a format reminiscent of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni lawsuits, text messages, some more suggestive than others. In a 46-page filing, it included at least one text message from an October 2020 trip the two took to the Bahamas. I guess, and other people were there, apparently. It looks like the trip to and others took to the Bahamas. Yeah, so other people was there. It wasn't just Tyler Perry and that guy, I guess. This is where Dixon claims that Tyler Perry got loaded and assaulted him again. Bro, somebody assault you. I don't know. This is the text message that this guy is submitting as evidence. Says this is from Tyler Perry. So Tyler Perry sends the picture. Dude says, nice picture. Yeah, the water does look calm. Tyler Perry responded, said, nice picture. Dude responded and said, great, amazing, awesome picture. Tyler responded allegedly and said, you don't see that stud in that nice picture? Rude. Dude said, LOL, yes, that's a stud. And Tyler Perry called him an a-hole. I don't know that this text message shows anything incriminating, bro. Like, first of all, you said, yeah, the water does look calm. Meaning y'all was having a conversation before. He said he didn't just wake up and send this picture. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You didn't just wake up and send this picture. What you guys think in the chat? What y'all think, chat? You know? The water does look calm, nice picture, blah, 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 blah. So it seemed like there was a conversation going. I don't know. The filing also notes that Tyler Perry supposedly repeatedly threatened that, quote, if Dixon ignored Perry or failed to engage with the innuendos, his character would die in the next season. It goes on to add, indeed, his character Dale was shot 4 times in the chest at the end of the first season, and Perry always held this over Mr. Dixon's head, implying that Dale would have survived if he kept Perry happy. According to him, after he complained about Tyler Perry's alleged misconduct, and, quote, defendants did not make any investigation into the complaint and did not take any steps to prevent further harassment from occurring, he had to quit his job working on the last season of the television show. Him and his attorneys claimed that the decision cost him $400,000 in lost wages. He claims he did not want to be sexually harassed or placed in danger of assault again. So he left the show and gave up the money. I don't know. I'm going to wait till we see some more updates. I need to see some more evidence. Tyler Perry is, even though I always think it's weird to me when I see somebody extremely successful as a man and don't have a wife. I don't know if I'm wrong or right about that. I don't know if Tyler Perry's not married, I don't think, right? And I always say to you guys, that's what causes a lot of these. I think one of the most dangerous things that you could be in America is successful, rich, which is 2 separate things, and single in these times. I think it's one of the most dangerous things that you could be, because you got the ambulance chasers out there. Gotta do something. 50 Cent actually responded to all this, to Tyler Perry's situation, and he's defending Tyler. He's saying he don't believe none of it. He don't want to hear none of that. So the article says that 50 Cent defends Tyler Perry after shocking $260 million lawsuit. 50 poked fun at Tyler Perry on Instagram while coming to his defense after the lawsuit was filed, right? In an initial post, 50 shared an AI-generated image of him and Tyler Perry with the caption, "Did that BITCH just say what I think he said? Nah, we ain't jacking this ish gang, no way." A few hours later, he dropped another post. At this time, it was another AI-generated image of Cat Williams. Said, "Tyler, that case is BS. Don't worry about that. Worry about this dude here. So, and obviously people were saying in the comments that 50 was going to have a field day with this. So, and 50 has a good relationship with Tyler Perry, so he's going to defend him, I think, for that reason. 50 has always defended Tyler Perry. I remember with the Monique situation, when Monique was saying a bunch of bad things about Tyler Perry, 50 came to Tyler's defense and said, bro, you gotta step up and tell people to work with her, not just to not because Tyler Perry's position was, I never told nobody not to work with Monique. And 50 was like, yeah, but you never told nobody to work with her. So 50 always seemed like he got Tyler Perry's back. And, even in those text messages, I didn't really see nothing so far. I haven't seen nothing that was just mind blowing to me. I'm going to wait and see how that plays out. 50 did say, in regards to Tyler Perry and this whole thing, he said, hey, I think anybody, this is a quote from 50 Cent, hey, I think anybody who talks bad about Tyler Perry should die. I mean, we're all going to die, but you should die now. So that shows you that he has a high regard for Tyler. Now, this is all coming right after. Who watched that movie Straw? Who went out there? You guys see the Straw movie? Tyler Perry just dropped a new movie. It came out on Netflix. It debuted at #1. Did nearly 50 million views in the second week. So it doubled the viewership in its second week on Netflix. And it tallied up, it says 48.9 million views the first week. And then I'm sorry, the second week, 48.9 million views. And the first week, it was 25.3 million views. So that's a lot of views, man. Almost 70 million people. Is that a little over 75 million people have seen the movie? I thought the movie was, I'm not one of those, I'm not like the type of black person that I don't like the ignorance, personally. I understand Tyler is making content. We all making content. Everything is content, by the way. News articles are content. Books are content. Movies. Everything. All of it is content. So I get that this is just content. And sometimes when you're making content, you're just trying to you're just doing what you got to do to get your views. Like, what's going to be the most entertaining piece to be entertaining is to provoke emotion. And sometimes when, in the process of trying to find ways to provoke emotion from your audience, you create content that might not be, the most agreed upon by everybody. I'll say it that way. And this is just, I watched the movie. I watched it with my wife, called my pops right after. Me and my pops laughed for about an hour about the movie. Because this movie is just like, bro, nowhere in the world would this ever happen in one day. And then at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, if you ain't seen the movie, at the end of the movie, it's like the plot twist was like, what? But everybody in the movie, all them black people in the movie, almost everybody in that movie was ignorant. Almost everybody. Everybody was talking like they was man in the bank cussing the lady out. Come on, dog. Hey, I'm sorry. I need you guys to just leave the bank. Man, what the FB? Like, bro, come on, dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of these. It was an entertaining movie, but the narratives in it, I was just like, I don't like this. Only black women protect black women. That's not true. You know what I'm saying? All men are evil and they will hurt you. That's not true. The old black man and that was her supervisor. If you guys ain't seen the movie, go. I encourage you to go watch it. If I watched it from a comedic perspective, like, it was funny to me. Some people I know eating it up. I've seen them on Instagram and stuff like that, crying. Like, bro, this is the fakest movie I've ever seen in my life. But it was funny. It's just the narratives in it I didn't like. But it was entertaining. And it was a good movie. It was entertaining and it did that. I'm just, it was simple. Take it for simply entertainment. That's all I will say. Take it for simply, it's just content. Try not to watch it like this is really going on, because the funniest dude, they was saying the black dude that was the owner or the supervisor or whatever he was, in the grocery store. He looked like the Grinch, the cartoon Grinch. And like, oh, you want your check? Like, man, bro, it's Friday. Yes. Like, yeah, yes, I want my check, dog. It's Friday. What do you mean? Oh, you want your check? Yeah. What do you mean? And then it was like, my wife made a really good point when we was watching it though. She was like, this movie is made for people that view themselves like she views herself in this movie. Like she's the victim. Like she's the victim of all this. That was what my wife said. I thought that was a great point. She blew my mind when she said it. Because I was just looking at it like, this is nonsense. What is this? My wife's like, you got to understand, this is made, these type of movies are made for people that view themselves like everybody is against me. It's all just happening to me. They don't see that that person's going through a bad day too. And then what another part of it that they didn't show in that movie, just to kind of tie this point off, was what was all the decisions that led, if outside of the plot twist at the end for the people that watched it, I ain't gonna spoil it, but if this was the worst day of her life and all this stuff happened, what was the things that she did before that that led up to this? What did you do last month? You know what I'm saying? Like evictions don't come in 30. Like, bro, you gotta go. They gotta go to court for that. Stuff like that. Where's this kid's dad? Where's your baby's dad? Like, where's the stuff that led up to this stuff? Like, there's decisions. Look, failure and success is a series of decisions. I'm gonna wake up on time. I'm gonna be there early. That's a good decision. I'm gonna wake up late. I'm gonna be there late. That's a bad decision. Success and failures are all about series of decisions. Small things done well consistently over a long period of time is what creates success. Conversely, it's the same on the opposite end of the spectrum. So if you do a lot of things poorly over a long period of time, that's what creates failure. Especially when you do them consistently. So it's really hard, man. And I've been through everything. That's why it's really hard. Sometimes I'll be like, bro, you could do anything. So this movie was like a depiction of how people who feel like they're victims, their outlook on life. To me, that's what I saw when I watched the movie. You know, everybody's just against me. Everybody's screaming at me. Everybody's giving me a hard time. I'm going through the world. Everything is difficult for me. Man, everything is difficult for everybody. Some people just deal with things differently. You know, even like, bro, I was surprised that she, in the movie, that her mom, you had a mom. Why your baby ain't with your mom now? You gonna let the baby get taken by CPS before you send the baby with the mom? Oh, we don't have hot water and blah, blah, blah. Well, send the baby with her mama. Send the baby with her daddy. What's going on? You ain't, there's always an option. There's always, I don't know, man. I watched it, but I didn't like the narratives. I didn't like the victim narratives. It was entertaining content. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't like it. Let's move on. Let's move on to the latest update in Diddy's trial. Now, here's the thing, man. Diddy's trial is coming to a close. I think everything that they do is going to come down to the closing statements because they've presented all this evidence. They presented all these people testifying. There's a couple more people that have to testify. I think they're going to close it off with some of the bigger names. I think Christina Karam, who has been alleged to be and been talked about and everybody testifying is bringing her name up, that she was the ringleader of a lot of this stuff. And she was Diddy's right-hand woman, according to Diddy. That's his quote. I think she's going to testify, but we're going to have to wait and see because there was a delay today in court. As we speak, another juror has some issues. There was a jury member that was kicked out of the jury for lying during his qualification process. And so now the articles are saying that there's another juror that got sick. He was on his way to the Manhattan courthouse and began experiencing vertigo. So the juror's partner contacted the court. The federal judge said that he doesn't see a way that the proceedings could go on today because this was a regular juror. The prosecution asked if this was a permanent or temporary situation. The judge said he will ask the deputy to confirm, but he believes it was a sudden thing. And so the government did note that there was no reason to excuse the juror. And so that's kind of the reason for the delay. Today they said that they're going to pick up the trial on Friday. But we did get a couple updates that were significant on what's going to happen next in the trial. It was reported previously that Diddy was going to be testifying in his own trial because he couldn't, his lawyer said, quote, they couldn't keep him off the stand. Now it's being reported that he may not be testifying at his trial. And the report said prosecutors have outlined what they described as a year-long criminal enterprise that could put the music mogul behind bars for life, alleging that Diddy used his power to influence, traffic women, silence accusers, and shield himself from accountability. Now, the government's case had all this graphic testimony and a detailed timeline of alleged events. The defense has yet to present a full argument. Diddy's team hasn't presented a full argument, rather. And one key question that that was asked is whether Diddy would testify himself. Now that has been answered. Multiple sources have confirmed that Diddy will not take the stand in his own defense, despite the high-profile nature of the proceedings and the serious charges that he faces. Now, this decision comes as both legal teams prepare for what will be the final phase of the trial that has gripped the music industry and the public alike. So everybody's preparing for the final couple weeks of Diddy's trial. And so that was a big thing, because everybody was like, bro, if you take the stand, it almost insinuates a Hail Mary. Like you feel like we going down, I might as well tell my story at least and give it a shot. But it seems like that's not the case. So maybe there's been some confidence that's been boosted in this situation. And you guys know, if you haven't been watching the updates, you can go watch the other live streams, and we broke this down every step of the way for the most part, all the most important stuff. Now, here's the part that I thought was extremely interesting. Do you guys remember the guy about a year ago, less than a year ago, last December? He was arrested at the airport, Brendan Paul. And he was called Diddy's drug mule, according to articles. And they said that his charges were dropped. I'm sorry, his charges were dropped last December. He was arrested about a year ago when all the Diddy stuff kicked off. So when Diddy's houses were getting raided, this dude was trying to flee in the airport, and the feds went and rushed him and arrested him and caught him in possession. That it was actually last March. And he had possession of cocaine and marijuana in the airport and all that. He was trafficking. He was getting on a private plane and all that, allegedly. Or reportedly, I should say. Now, his case was formally dismissed in its entirety. I don't know where that happens for anybody. I don't know when the feds send a whole squad to go get somebody from the airport to stop a plane on the runway, catch you with drugs, and then your charges get dismissed. And instantly, when we reported this back then, I said, oh, yeah, he testifying, right? And this dude was called Diddy's drug mule. So it said that he accepted the prosecutor's offer to permit his entry into a diversion program. After completion, the case against him will be dismissed in its entirety. So basically, he took a drug treatment program and got probation for a federal crime. So I said, okay, yeah, he testifying. Now, the latest update on the Diddy trial is it's being reported that this dude, Brendan Paul, will be testifying. He's the next person to testify. So here it is right here. Yesterday at 6:16 a.m., it said Brendan Paul, who worked for Combs, took the stand to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination before taking the stand later on today. He was granted an immunity order, which requires him to tell the truth and protect himself from prosecution. And then after that, the juror got sick. So Brendan Paul is going to be testifying this Friday at the next court hearing. You know I'm going to be here to report and see what he had to say about all that. They're still under the testimony of a special agent from the U.S. Attorney's Office who's on the witness stand right now. But I'm really interested to see what Brendan Paul says about Diddy in this situation, because it's going to be telling, on what he experienced, what he's seen, and different things like that. So he is going to testify. That's confirmed by the court, by the live updates from the court. We're going to see what this dude has to say. I think that these closing weeks for Diddy's trial is going to be very, very important and impactful. And I think that it's going to be telling to see what the closest people, like the big names, are going to say. The Brendan Paul, the Christina Karams. We heard from all the other assistants. We heard, and I believe that Diddy is going to be convicted If nothing else, they're going to convict him because the jury just looks at him like a POS, piece of, if you don't know what that means. So I think, but I also think that he is guilty of the racketeering, using this, which is using a criminal or using a legitimate enterprise to fund a criminal enterprise. I think the government has proved that case. I think it's just going to come down to closing statements to remind the jury of, hey, along the way, you heard this. That's a crime because of this. Along the way, you heard that. For example, hey, along the way, you heard that he used government employee, or excuse me, he used company employees and company vehicles and company credit cards to go do things like blow up Kid Cudi's car, or home invasions at Kid Cudi's house, or he for the trafficking charges. You heard 6 prostitutes come on the stand and testify to saying that, yes, Diddy paid me and flew me from this state to that state for the purpose of engaging in prostitution. That's the legal definition of trafficking. So I think all those type of closing statements are what's going to get Diddy convicted. I think it's a matter of how much time he's going to do, not if he's going to. I think he's going to definitely do time. I'm just curious to see how much, and to see what these last few people, even the bribery charges that he's facing. You know, when you got the hotel workers from the Cassie video, the one where he was beating her up, the hotel worker saying, yes, Diddy paid me $100,000. Got on the stand and said, yes, he paid me $100,000 to cover everything up. And then you got 5 or 6 assistants saying, yes, Diddy paid me this much a year to cover everything up. You're using your legal enterprise to fund a criminal enterprise. That's a crime. I don't know that he can beat that. It's too many people getting immunity, too many people testifying. A lot of people are saying, well, why is he in a RICO by himself? How's that possible? Everybody's getting immunity. He's not in it by himself, but all the accomplices are testifying against him, so they don't go to jail. And Brendan Paul is the latest one that has gotten immunity. And, you know, seems like he's going to be on the stand testifying and pretty much just exposing what everybody wants to know what's going on. So we'll see, man. It's a crazy situation. Let's get to this last topic, and then we're going to close out, man. See what you guys saying in the chat. Anyways, we'll close it out with this topic. Dame Dash has been ordered to turn over all his assets to satisfy his ongoing debt. I got prayers for Dame Dash because even though I know he was arrogant, according to a lot of people, I know that people say, you know, Dame Dash, he reaped what he sowed. He was always talking crazy to people, always putting people down about money. And as somebody that's rich, I always stay wary of that. I always stay humble before God, not necessarily humble before people, but I always stay humble before God. And you guys know that's why I pray every live stream, because no matter how many millions of views that we do on this channel, I'm always aware that the platform is given to me, the opportunity, everything is given to me by God. And I reference that scripture a lot, especially when I'm coaching clients or when I'm teaching you guys about the business side of this stuff. You know, I always reference the scripture, Deuteronomy 8:18, which is when you have success, the Bible says, you're going to say the strength of my hands created this success for me. But remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the power to generate wealth. That means even if I'm the one that's doing the work, God gave me the ability to do the work. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm always aware of that. I know people have a feeling about Dame Dash. But it is a crazy thing to see and a sad thing to see when somebody losing everything. They got a family, they got kids, but he losing everything. It says, after getting sued for alleged copyright infringement and defamation, Dame Dash was ordered to pay over $800,000 in damages in 2022. His legal battles continue. Earlier this week, reportedly, things got serious for him. The federal judge ordered that he failed to pay the court order $823,284.71 judgment. The judgment stems from a lawsuit filed by filmmaker Josh Weber and Muddy Water Pictures. It all started with the film Dear Frank, which Dash worked on before being removed for his allegedly unprofessional behavior on the set. He's accused of going on to promote the film as his own regardless. After getting sued for alleged copyright infringement and defamation, Dame Dash was ordered to pay over $800,000 in damages. So Dame's ego, Dame's arrogance, it seems like, if this report is true, is what cost him this situation, right? So that's how it started. And so it says, It says now a ruling issued by the U.S. magistrate compels him and his company, Dame Dash's company, to turn over control of his companies, all his companies. Dame Dash Films, Blue Rock LLC, Black Rock LLC. It also compels him to turn over his interest in Lebanon Improvements LLC, Oceans East LLC, Improvements LLC, and 1996 Songs LLC. So every company Dame Dash owns has been seized. Every company he owns been seized. It's a tough situation to be in, man, in order to satisfy the judgment. And he's also in tax debt. Like, I think it was like $10 million in tax debt. So that was another thing on top of all this other stuff, right? And so 50 Cent said some encouraging things. 50 responded to everything, don't he? He said some encouraging things. 50 said, Dame, where you at? Bounce back, a little stress, but no depression. A little setback is just a lesson. You get a little arrogant and you lose blessings, but when you know how to win, you win. So quit effing around and win again, chin up. So that's what 50 said to Dame Dash. It was somewhere reported, I believe, around 10. Let's see, here it is right here, actually. And this is another sad update on that story. It says Dame Dash record exec Dame Dash owes $20 million in unpaid tax. I thought it was $10 million. It's $20 million in unpaid taxes. And his daughter has been evicted from her NYC apartment. That's where it's hurtful. As a dad, it's like, man, you want to keep up the image. You want to feel like, man, I'm a good dad. You know what I'm saying? At least I'm taking care of my daughter. At least my daughter is good. But it seemed like his daughter getting evicted. I feel bad for him, man. I ain't gonna lie. Even though I know, I just have empathy. I don't know what people feel about Dame. Some people say he deserved it, but this is tough. This is a tough thing in life, man, especially at his age and the level of life that he's lived. It's hard to go back to just living normal. So record executive Dame Dash owes a stunning over $20 million in unpaid federal and state taxes, just as his daughter, Ava, was evicted from her apartment in New York City. The Rockefeller Records founder, has been hit with 3 federal tax liens, owing the IRS a total of $12 million. The largest of his federal tax liens was filed in New York for $6.7 million. And the tax lien accounted for money Dame owed from the IRS from 2006, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2019, and 2020. A second smaller lien was filed in New York for $251,000, and that covered money owed to the IRS from 2020 and 2021. The third tax lien was filed against him in 2022 in California for $4.8 million, essentially. That's a total of 3 federal liens for $11.8 million. Meanwhile, it was previously reported that it's not just Uncle Sam who has his hand out for Dame's taxes owed, but the state. So federal taxes and state taxes is what he owes. So he owes the state of New York $8.7 million. So $12 million to the feds, $8.7 million to the state. It says the Empire State, last November, the Empire State purchased Dame's 1/3 share of Rockefeller Records for $1 million at an auction, with hopes to flip those shares to pay off his state tax debt. And he also owes $193,000 in unpaid child support. It's crazy. It must suck to be like all your finances just out there in the street for everybody. Just anybody in the world could just pull it up and read it. It's a hurtful thing, man. But it's a lesson in humility, man. Look, man, you always stay. God is the big homie, at all times, man. Because the same people you see coming up, same people you see going down, and gotta stay, in a space of humility at all times, because it don't have to be the way it is. So I guess his daughter received an eviction notice from her luxury apartment in Manhattan. It said that the property owner claimed that Dame Dash's daughter and 3 other tenants occupied the apartment but failed to pay rent 4 months at $10,000 per month plus $3,800 for the 5th month. So the apartment is $10,000 a month, and they ain't paying the rent for 4 months straight. The landlord requested the court issue a warrant to remove respondents from possession of the premises, together with the costs and disbursements of this proceeding. The landlord successfully obtained the eviction notice, and that was that, man. It's all bad, man. It's all bad. Look, the lesson in that is do not forget that your success is not just your success. The Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. And when God blesses you with something, that means he expects something. And I always just stay in the belief of I got to do right with my blessings, because these are not necessarily my blessings. This is just what God gave me to manage. Jesus taught a parable of the talents where he said he gave, the king gave one servant 10 talents, gave another one 5, gave the other one 1. And the two that managed their talents the best, talents were like a form of money. The ones that managed it the best were able to come into the kingdom and get more. Say, you've been faithful over a few, I'll make you ruler over many. And the one that didn't was like, oh, you're a wicked and slothful. Like, it's not just money that we have to manage. That's not the point of that story. Is when God give you something, manage it, and God will give you more. Don't mismanage it. Pay your taxes, man. Render to Caesar's what is Caesar's. Pay your taxes. We all got to pay our taxes. I'm rich. I understand it. It feels weird to me. I was explaining it to one of my kids recently. Like, how would you feel if you wake up, you make, let's put it at a middle class level. You make $50,000 a year. And the government say, okay, good job. You worked, how many hours you worked this year? 40 hours a week? Great. Give us 20 of those hours, the money for 20 of those hours. It sucks to pay taxes. That's what taxes is. Taxes is so out of control in America on the low. Like, we pay taxes. I was talking to my employees about this. We pay taxes when we buy something, when we sell something, if we resell something. So think about this. Think about this for a second. Just taxes are crazy. Think about this. I open the store. I go open a business. I open a store, whatever type of store. Let's say I sell chips. I, as the store owner, pay the tax for the building, for everything that all the inventory. I pay the sales tax on all that. I pay an employment tax. I'm an employer, so I know. I pay an employment tax, right? I pay taxes every time I submit payroll. And then every time I have to restock my inventory, I pay taxes on what I buy. You come in the store, with the money that you went to work for, that you pay taxes on, your income tax, right? So the money you pay taxes on, you come in the store with it. You pick up a bag of chips, put it on the counter. You pay taxes on that bag of chips that I already paid taxes on when I bought it. An additional sales tax. So you paying taxes, I'm paying the taxes. And then guess what? When you hand me that money for those bag of chips, guess what I got to do with that money? Pay taxes on it. Because it's an income for me now. The money that you already paid income tax on, when you hand it to me, I got to pay an additional income tax on. Because I made money off of money that you made. It's just a circle of taxes, bro. So I get why people feel away. But man, it is a crazy thing. It is a crazy thing, man. We out of time today. We doing some new things on the website. Go check it out. This is going to be probably the last week that things stay the same on the website. So for all my people all my clients, all my entrepreneurs out there, that if I coach you, if you watch the content, you like, if you're in our U Legend community, we're about to update the inner circle. The inner circle is going to be more exclusive. Now it's the U Legend community. For the lower tier, we're going to have a higher tier inner circle where we go to dinners and we do different things like that. You guys get to hang out with me. You guys get to get on the jet with me for the new inner circle that's coming soon. Go check out the the no-cost private live event while you still can, because that's not probably going to be there forever. Because we're making some updates on the website. It's called From Stuck to Seven Figures. It's 4 steps to turn your purpose into profit. Go check it out. We're making some new updates over there. It's ulgnd.com. Website is pinned in the chat. It's free. Put your email address in. Check out the live stream to help you get unstuck from wherever you are. I don't care if you the $50,000 a year employee trying to get a raise, or if you're the business owner trying to get to the 6 figures or the 7 figures. There's something over there in that, and I teach you. So I want you guys to go check that out. I promise you, your life will change. I have no doubt in my mind, man. We get thousands of people watching that video, and so many emails from people and comments from people saying how much that one live stream has changed their life, and then everybody in our community group and the inner circle and different things too. So go over there, check it out. It's going to be a blessing to you. I hope that you guys was entertained, and I hope that you guys got informed during this live stream. We're running out of time. I would do more, but we're running out of time, and I got other things to do today. But God bless you guys, man. We're going to be back this week, and I'm going to be back here a little more consistently, after we get the birthday celebrations out. It was my birthday this week, yesterday. So we're about to go have some more fun for the week. But, I'll try to stay more consistent with the content after all that is done. But I'm about to go have some fun because you guys know I'm here every day between 9 and 10 a.m. giving you guys the best content that I possibly can and all the latest updates on what's really going on behind the scenes. Until next time, God bless you guys. My name is Will Evans, and I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Stay up.